on from ECMC, Erie County Medical Center. I had Miss Francesca Messiah, she's from Calida, and I had Bernarda Airy, she's from Roswell Park. And they got very vulnerable on who they are outside of those roles that you see them in at the hospital all the time. So now we had a chance to talk to these women that's in hospital, but they're not doctors. But now we're going to talk wellness. It is time to talk wellness. When you think of wellness in the city of Buffalo, you think of this beautiful young lady that's at her church, and she's always trying to help the community on wellness. And I think you all know her name is Miss Caprice Butts. Welcome to the round table.
Thank you so much. That's a wonderful introduction.
Yes,
I feel so
and
honored.
it's the truth. It is
Thank
the
you
truth.
so much.
And I have a chance to meet a young lady I just met today, Miss Robin Mann. She's from the Prevention Council. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the round table.
Thank you.
Are you guys ready to talk about wellness and how we can help our community? We have such a community out there that every day something is going. They're taking so many pills and this. I talk to so many people and they have like a box and it's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but it's like 3 or 4 pills in each. And it's time to really help them on what it is. Oh, Ms. Robin, she's just asking you to take the mic right up to you. There you go. So I want to start off with Ms. Caprice Butt. What's one wellness concept would you like to share with our listeners that will help them start smart on their wellness journey?
Wow, that's a loaded question because so many of us have so many things going on in our lives. But I think the main thing would to hydrate yourself. Make sure that you're drinking a lot of water. And I know a lot of people say, I don't like how it tastes, and I don't like. You have to make it work. You gotta work it out. Whether it's coconut water or making sure that you're cutting down on a lot of sugary drinks, but make sure that you are hydrating yourself because water is part of who we are. And shameless plug on tomorrow's Body, Beauty, and Soul.
Yes.
We're going to talk about
That comes
the
on
important
WUFO.
at 11:30 secret hidden things that may be going on in your body you don't know about. You'll be surprised how many times we are just dehydrated. We're talking about dementia and Alzheimer's can be slowed down, even reversed by just drinking water. And I'm not talking about just drinking and drinking because if you drink a lot of water, it's just going to come right out of you.
Okay, yes.
But you want to drink at times where that water is going to hydrate the cell and get inside the cell. If it doesn't get inside the cell, it's just going to be circulating and it'll come right out of you. So we're going to talk a little bit about that tomorrow. So
I love that.
You guys got to tune in.
So now, how many bottles of water should one drink per day?
Well, it's important that you have at least 8 glasses of water.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I am so...
Yeah. So imagine this. Think of a gallon of milk. Look at that as 3 ways full, 3/4 of that full. That's how much you need to drink and liquids and fluids. And a lot of people say, well, I can't do that. But think about it this way. There's water in bananas. There's water in strawberries and oranges and fruits and vegetables. So you can get your fluid intake in that way as well.
Now, I never heard no one explain it like that. They always say, drink so much water, but never saying, hey, you can get intake in different ways.
Absolutely. So look at it this way. If a man is a 200-pound man, he has to have 100 fluid ounces of water. Okay, so whatever amount that you weigh, however much you weigh, cut that in half, and that's how many ounces of fluids that you should have a day.
Wow.
Okay,
That's
so
good.
Everyone listening out there, let's hydrate ourselves and let's get ourselves together because it really makes a huge difference.
That's good. Ms. Robin Mann, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Well, Robin is from the Prevention Council. I want to ask you, what does the Prevention Council of Erie County do? Can you give us a brief overview?
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you for this opportunity.
No, thank you.
So the Prevention Council of Erie County, we've celebrated our 75th year last year of services in the community, in schools and working with coalitions, providing substance abuse prevention, early intervention, and education services. Substances does not discriminate. Addiction doesn't discriminate. And so it is so important to start from the very young through our seniors and educate them on the the drugs that are out there, whether legal or illegal drugs, how it impacts their bodies. Since the pandemic, so many people are struggling even more with stress and trying to figure things out, and the numbers definitely increased of substance use during that time. So it's important to continue to teach coping skills, and that's what the Prevention Council does. We have programs for parents, we have programs for children, seniors. We service the continuum of age, so from our little babies through our seniors.
Wow. So how do people get in contact with you?
So we are currently in, I believe we're in 17 Buffalo Public Schools for our school-based program, a few more. We are working with our seniors in various community centers. We are working with parents over at our program is housed at St. Mary's School for the Deaf. One of our programs, another program is virtual. But if someone wanted services or just to see what we are doing and who we are, they can call our office at 716-831-2298, or they can look us up online, check out our website at www.thepreventioncouncilec for ErieCounty.com. I'm sorry.
That sounds good. Sister Caprice, since COVID, you see a lot of people, they talk about they had COVID and it's taking them so long to shake it. And what's some supplements that we can add into our body to kind of push off that germ? We know that God said any disease or germs that in our body would die instantly, and every organ and every tissue of our body will work at the perfection that He calls for it. But if that germ is still entering into your body, what would you suggest that they take? What supplements?
Vitamin C. Load up on vitamin C, zinc, and elderberry. They have really great properties that will naturally keep your immune system strong. You also want to look into adaptogens. Do you know what an adaptogen is?
No, never heard of that.
An adaptogen is an herb that whatever's going on in your body, that's what it works on. Okay? And I'm really into seed nutrition. And the black cumin seed, the black raspberry seed, the Chardonnay grape seed, there's one product that I promote. It has all those 3 seeds in one packet. It's a 2-ounce juice. Just shake it, rip it, sip it, and it naturally, whatever's going on in your body, that's what it works on. So I have clients with diabetes. Their doctors are taking them off their insulin. I have clients with heart disease. Doctors are taking them off of their medications because they're taking an adaptogen. So guys, look into adaptogens. If you want to find out what that product is, you can reach out to me at capriceology.com. But look into elderberry, zinc, vitamin C, load up on that, and anything that is an adaptogen, because sometimes you may have the flu, sometimes you may have the C, sometimes you just may have an upper respiratory infection. But whatever's going on in your body, that adaptogen will attack that and make sure that gets cleared out.
And so give out your website one more time, maybe spell it out for them, because I really want our audience, it is about really helping our Black and brown people get better.
It's capriceology.com, CAPRICE, that's my name, Caprice, Ology, OLOGY, capriceology.com. If you want to look into those products, just drop me an email and I'll get in touch with you and we can make that happen. Unfortunately, because of the website provider, we cannot necessarily put certain herbs on and products on. So just reach out to me, let me know what you're interested in, and me or a member of my team will have a consultation with you.
Wonderful. All right, guys, it is time to go over to our break. But when we come back, we're going to find some hidden facts about these 2 lovely ladies that's here in the studio with us as we're celebrating Women's History Month.
That was fun.
Yes, I know, right? Exactly. So are we still live on Facebook? Guys, you guys are more than welcome to talk to our Facebook audience there to kind of let them know behind the scenes on how to get to both of you guys and your products.
All right, you want to go, Caprice?
Sure. Hey guys, it's Caprice with capriceology.com. If you want to get well and stay well, reach out to me and my team at capriceology.com. Because here's the facts. Every 33 seconds, someone dies of coronary artery disease in the United States. Every 33 seconds, someone dies of a heart attack. So we want to make sure that that's not you and that you're not a part of that statistic. So check us out at capriceology.com.
Perfect.
So that's how it is in real radio, guys. People just come in the door. They like, we want to talk to you. They coming on in. They like, you got 30 seconds. So within them 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you what I want. Call me, Shine. I'll be off at 6. All right.
So Robin Mann here from the Prevention Council. I'm the executive director. And again, we do substance abuse prevention, education, and early interventions programs and services. So you can reach me at 716-831-2298 or the Prevention Council, COUNCILEC for EerieCounty.org.com. I keep saying org.
Yeah.
For our services, whether it's parenting services, whether it's interventions with your children, teaching social skills, we are here to help.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We are sitting right in the middle of the D.L. Hughley show. But since it is Women History Month, we just kind of took over his time today. So we have Women History. We got a round table. And we have Ms. Caprice Butts and Ms. Robin Mann. And on the first half, we let them tell us about what they actually do in their day-to-day job, what their job actually is. But now I want our audience to know some hidden facts of you guys. Miss Caprice, what do you like to cook?
Oh, my Lord. Okay. An herbalist should say, I love fruits and vegetables and salads and all. And I do. I do.
Right.
But I love cooking soul food.
Oh, do you?
Yes, I love cooking soul food, and I love doing it. I see you. And I love making sure that it's still healthy. I no longer cook with any type of salt, because there's some really great substitutes that you can use, like Mrs. Dash and some other organic products that you can use. But I no longer cook with salt, but I make sure that our culture is represented in our household. And you can still do it naturally and healthily and still have a really good meal.
So do I hear a cookbook maybe coming to
Well, you
help
know
with
what?
that?
If you subscribe to capriceology.com, you'll get your own healthy cooking guide. You can just download that. And we also have a recipe book that's it's probably still online, but we'll make sure that you guys get it.
Yeah, make sure, because I have 2 books that I took on a plane 2 weeks ago. And I read, it was 2 magazines that you were in. I got some wonderful recipes in there, wonderful information. I mean, you're on the cover of 2 of them, just looking fantastic. And if those are not out, I think you need to reproduce those and bring those back out.
They are actually in rotation now. It's Start Healthy Magazine with capriceology.com. If you, once again, go and subscribe, you can either get a digital copy right now, or we'll put you on our mailing list and you can get a hard copy coming to your home.
I love it. Love it. And Ms. Mann, what do you like to cook?
I prefer to bake. If I have a choice, I prefer to bake. That's kind of where I'm at. I cook, right? Gotta eat. But I prefer to cook. And interestingly, a lot of the things that I bake, I don't eat, but I enjoy watching everyone else enjoy it. So some of the things that I bake that are often requested are my brownies and my cheesecakes. Those are usually what people are like, did you make those? Did you bring that? So that's what I enjoy. It's a little more therapeutic for me, baking is.
Okay. I have some sister-in-laws, and they love to bake. And a lot of them say that. They bake, but they don't really eat what they bake. But when I tell you, it's fantastic. So I like a girl that can bake. That's good. Caprice, what do you like doing during your free time? Not that you have a lot of free time.
I know. Does that work?
No, exactly. I know.
In my free time, as you know, I'm also a caregiver for my mom.
Yes.
I'm in ministry. I do a lot of other things. But in my free time, I just love curling up with a good book or having girls' night with my dear friends.
Yes.
Because sometimes you can know someone, but so much is going on in our individual lives that if we don't stay connected with each other, so many things will happen that'll go right over our head. And how many of you have experienced talking to a friend on the phone and say, hey girl, how are you? And I'm fine, but you can hear in her voice that there's something going on.
Yeah.
But it isn't until you see them that you can really discern, okay, what's going on.
Yeah. Let's talk.
So communicating with my dear friends, and I have a really tight circle of girls from high school and college and in ministry that we really support one another. So that's one of the things I love to do.
I like that. That's good. Robin, what about you?
I enjoy spending time with my family. I have 2 children and my husband, and I just love being with them and spending time with them, laughing, traveling. experiencing different things. But then when I want to kind of be by myself a little bit, I enjoy crafting. Again, it's therapeutic for me. It's therapeutic, so I enjoy my crafts as well.
Yeah. As women, especially in the roles that both of you guys are carrying right now and all what you do you ever ask yourself, how did I get here? Good, bad, or indifferent? Like, how did I get here?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, what I'm doing now is definitely a move of God. And you and I know we both started, we went to school together, but
Yeah.
10 years at NBC, 8 years at ABC, a promotion and marketing manager, director, senior producer, love television. Being in TV, as you know, or in media, is like working at a hospital.
That's right.
It never closes. You could be on your way out the door.
Always something different.
And a breaking news story happens. Yes. You got to put that purse down and get back to work. Mm-hmm. And I love that. And then I would leave and I minister at my church with my parents. And but one day, my sister died of a heart attack in her sleep at the age of 40. And she and I had just come off a cruise, and there were some warning signs she was ignoring. She kept moving her shoulder, and I said, "What's going on?" She says, "Oh, no, I'll be fine." And I said, "Let me take your purse." "No, I'll just carry it on this side." I said, "You got to get that checked out." A couple of weeks later, we had a great time on the cruise, but a couple of weeks later, I saw her in church, and she was moving that shoulder. And I said, "Did you ever get that?" No, I'll be fine. 3 weeks later, she was gone. And when something like that happens, it doesn't matter how much you know the Lord, how much prayers you have. When you are shaken like that, it's only the Holy Spirit and the grace of God that will get you through. And it took a lot of prayer and God just really healing me because I found her. So that's another trauma. So God really took me through that healing process, but I knew actually 3 years before her passing, she and I received a prophetic word that we would have an international healing ministry. Mm. And so, of course, we praised God and then, totally forgot about it. So here I am, took a couple of weeks off from work, went back to work, and then all of a sudden I started having panic attacks. And I'm thinking, okay, what's going here? So I went to my doctor, and Caprice, you're just stressed out. And there's one thing when you work at a high stress level job, and your doctors know, sometimes they'll pass that off as, oh, you just need a vacation. Yeah. But my heart was hurting, and nobody could tell me what was going on. Your heart? I said, no, you just need a break. No, my heart really hurts. I happened to be in my office one day, and downstairs on AM Buffalo in the studio, I was sitting at my desk, and I heard the Holy Spirit say, turn up the audio. And I turned up the audio, and there was a cardiologist on the show, and she was describing every symptom I was having. I went down to the studio, if I have a second to tell the story.
Absolutely, yes.
I went down to the studio, I brought her up to my office, and I said, this is what's going on. She made an appointment right away. I was in her office that day. And she said, well, Caprice, they did the full workup. She says, your electrical system is off. And I said, what's that? She says, oh, don't worry, here's a prescription. And that was the beginning of me taking prescription medication. I had never taken prescription medication. And with that comes a lot of side effects. And the medication helped, but that was not the path I really wanted. And I really started to seek God about what was going on, because my parents both had heart disease and high blood pressure, and my sister had just died of a heart attack at 40, and I just did not want this to happen. And so I really just started praying and asking God, and one day, strangely enough, I was thumbing through a magazine, and my eyes landed on an article that said iridology. It was a paragraph that said body, and I was just intrigued by that. And I said, Lord, is this it? And he said, yes, but just wait. And so every now and then I see iridology, and Holy Spirit would say, not there, not there, not there. And one day I went to get my hair done, and my hairdresser, she had lost weight. She just looked great. I said, what did you do? She says, I went to a Christian iridologist. Bingo. She says, he's 75 years old. He's never had a slice of white bread in his life. But don't tell him what's going on with you. Just see him. So I made an appointment. He took one look at my left eye, and the first thing he said was, your heart hurts. And I started to cry, because that was the first time somebody got what was going on. And within an hour, he told me about things that, like an injury that I had when I had fallen. So much was going on. And he put me on a nutritional program, and that was the beginning of me learning about supplements and herbology, still working in television, started telling everybody about it. But then just learning about that craft and that ministry. And fast forward years later, in full-time ministry, thinking that that was going to be music and evangelism, and I still do that. But I had no idea that when I left television that God was going to lead me to go back to school to get my certifications in natural health. And today I have clients who are cancer-free, and their doctors are taking them off their meds, and great things are happening. But there I was years later about to speak at a wellness conference, and they were reading my bio. And as they were reading my bio, I heard Holy Spirit say, hadn't I taken your sister home, you'd never be doing this. Wow. She's just as much a part of this ministry as you are. And that's when I remembered the prophetic word. I had completely forgotten about it. So that's how I got here.
Yeah.
But I know that it was a divine plan, and sometimes you go kicking and screaming and you don't want to leave the money and you don't want to leave but God has blessed me tremendously. And still now I still do media. I'm the head writer for the Dorinda Clark Cole radio show and TV show. And I do a lot of things in media, but on my own terms. Now I've got this podcast on WFO Power 96.5. So great things are happening, but it was a journey of faith. And it's really time sometimes we have to get out the boat and walk on the water, whether we see a way out or not, because that's what faith is, believing when everything else looks and feels the opposite. Yeah. So that's
good.
My story.
That's good. That's good. Miss Robin?
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I found my way at the council many years ago. I was in grad school getting my master's in social work, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I wanted to counsel a little bit, wanted to help people. I knew I wanted to help people in a counseling role. And at that time, UB had various tracks that you could pick, and it was elderly and it was children. I didn't know what population I wanted to work with, but there was substance abuse. And I thought, that's the road I'm going to take, because substance abuse does not discriminate. And I can work with the elderly, I can work with youth, I can work with families, I can work with parents if I take this track. And that's what I did. I did treatment for a while. I was a counselor in treatment for a while. And I didn't care for that because I felt like there was something we could do before people got to the point that they needed treatment. What could we do to kind of change the trajectory that they were on? And one of my professors said, did you ever hear of, at that time it was called the Erie County Council for the Prevention of Alcohol and Substance Abuse? I said, no. She said, go check them out. They're hiring. I interviewed and I got the job, and I was excited. And at the time, I was working with youth in schools, primarily Buffalo Public Schools. And the funny thing about that was when I was doing treatment, I didn't want to work with youth. In my head, I thought I want to work with adults because adults will just tell you, right? Like, you don't have to do the play therapy. I don't want to do all that. Tell me what's going on. Let's work through it, right? And kind of like you with the divine intervention, what was the group they gave me in treatment was the adolescent group. And I remember saying, God, you really have a sense of humor, right? Because I don't want to work with them. But I learned so much from them just as they learned from me. And so that really prepared me for working at the council, because I ended up doing counseling, student assistance counseling in primarily Buffalo Public Schools with students who were at high risk. So they didn't have to be using any substances, but they were at high risk. So they could be, with friends who were using or have lost someone or may not have coping skills. So it really was to prevent them, again, changing the trajectory so that they're not using. And I did that for several years. And then the director of programs position became available, which was the position that overseen all of the other positions in the agency. And I was promoted to that position, and I did that for a few years. And then I became the executive director. And so, again, it wasn't really where I was going. I thought I'll go and do this for 2 years, get some experience and see what was out there. But I have to tell you, when we talk about wellness, the Prevention Council is an organization that is human service focused, but it has not forgotten that its employees are human too.
That's good.
And so in that time, I had some life things going on, and I never felt isolated. Like, they knew, okay, life happens. Staff need assistance too, and this is what we need. And so I had lost my dad at the time, and was in the hospital for a while. they allowed me to sit at his bedside and do work, right? As long as my work was done, it was okay. So again, it was a place that did not forget that the workers were human and it was a family. And so as I moved up, I kept that. I tried to keep that culture because you can't help someone if you need help, right? And so if we're not supporting our own, how do you expect them to go out and support the youth, the seniors, the families, and be effective or as effective as they could? And so I stayed, and now I'm the executive director, and it's been a wonderful experience. I have an amazing team. They're creative, they are excited. It's a passion that they have to want to help. Again, how can we help change and empower people and educate folks and teach skills so that substances are not the go-to to remedy the situation of stress? You know, you talked about stress and take this pill, okay, take this drug, have a drink. Well, what can we do instead, right? Because everyone does not have the luxury of being able to use recreationally, right? There's history that predisposes you to addiction. So how do we teach other skills so that that's not the go-to? And it's been wonderful being in the position because I've been able to make change, see change, and really help to facilitate healthier behaviors amongst our youth, our seniors, and our families.
Wow. Well, guys, I'm going to have to bring you back. We got all month. It's so many more questions I wanted to dive into, but we are out of time. And I want to take 2 seconds to let them know how they can find you, Miss Caprice, and how they can find you, Miss Robin.
You can go to Capriceology, CapriceOlogy, Capriceology.com, and just subscribe or just send us an email. Let us know that you want a consultation, and we will definitely stay connected with you. And also, we have an amazing podcast. Thank you so much, Sheila, for setting us up with that beautiful podcast on your show, on your station at 11:30 on Thursdays, right here on Power 96.5.
Yes, and if you guys haven't had a chance to listen, please tune in tomorrow. Ms. Robin?
I can be reached at thepreventioncouncil.com, COUNCILEC for Erie County.com, or feel free to call the office at 716-831-2298. And I invite you to check us out and see what programs and services we have to offer. We may be able to help you or your church, your community, or your family. So please feel free to log in, sign on, and see what you see and how we may be able to help.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Miss Cicely Tyson once said, the path that you was on was designed for you and you alone. And both of you guys are on an amazing path in your career right now. Up next week, we'll have a roundtable. We'll be talking about education in several different ways that women are doing, not just as an educator in schools, but all kind of ways of education. So I tell the audience, stay in tune for next week. I say to Ms. Mercedes Wilson, thank you for the sample jars that you allowed all of the women to receive today of your relish. It is fantastic to the community. Isn't it so good? If you haven't had a chance to try it, please stop